breaking a plateau with ketones right here. And how do you get back on track and get your body metabolizing fat effectively and efficiently? This is a thing I constantly have seen because everybody's going to plateau at some point, and there's reasons why, and I'm going to give you those reasons, the most common reasons why people plateau. Hey, my name is Dustin, the Keto Pro. Super excited to help you change your life forever, and I do focus on using ketones and the most scientific backed methods to help you get and achieve your goals and your results. So first off, why are we plateauing? What's the reason behind that? There could be metabolic adaptation, so meaning that you've dropped your calories down, your metabolism's potentially slowed down with that, especially if you've been doing this for a long time. I'm going to talk about how that works. It could be that you're lying to yourself a little bit. Your diet is adjusted. I'm doing the same thing I did when I started, but you're really not. You're making too many little things that are off that are stopping you. Maybe you need to change your dietary restrictions or change the way you're doing it. Or maybe we need to fast and your eating windows are too big. Maybe your energy levels are off or you're just not motivated anymore. So I'm going to give you the solution. And what's cool about that is this amazing formula that was actually originally invented for NASA, and we've advanced it. What it's going to do is number one, first thing it does is it actually improves your energy. It helps with body composition, meaning it protects your metabolism. So if your diet is off a little bit or you've been doing this for a long time, your metabolism is less likely to slow down, which is super important, by the way. One of the biggest mistakes why people gain their weight back is the metabolism adaptation, or it slows down. Don't ever want that to happen. You don't want your metabolism to slow down. You don't want your brain to slow down. And you don't want your income to slow down. Those are the things you never want to happen. But also the energy. Some people are, when they're reducing their calories, maybe your energy level's not where it is. And so you're starting to slowly move more, or everything seems like more work. You're less likely to quit. You're less likely to go and binge eat because your body maybe needs a better fuel source. Motivation, right? Motivation is something we just got to work on. Sometimes it's something you just have to overcome, but sometimes motivation is directly linked to the low energy that you're feeling, and therefore you don't feel motivated, right? So we're going to talk about each one of these and why this can work so well for you and help you break those plateaus, but more importantly, achieve your goals, achieve your results, and maintain them forever. Can't wait to dig in. So the science behind ketones are really cool. So ketones are a superior fuel or energy for your body. And this is super important. What people don't realize is that when you're eating a traditional diet or you're not in ketosis, now you don't have to do a ketogenic diet. That's what's cool about this product, is that it gives you ketones without the diet. You can do the ketogenic diet. It is a tool to utilize, but it's very hard to sustain and to optimize. It takes about a year to really figure that out. So what happens when you don't have ketones at an optimal level or a therapeutic level in your system, your body runs less efficient, meaning that your energy from your food or from your fat metabolism doesn't translate into energy into your day-to-day life. It doesn't give you a direct I can walk faster. I can walk more. I have more focus. It does not translate that way. What that energy is lost most often in heat. And that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. At the same time, we want that energy working for us. And that's the cool thing about ketones. One of the major benefits of being in ketosis, utilizing pure therapeutic ketones, is your energy is going to be utilized for your day-to-day life. So you're going to have more energy for your kids. You have more energy for your family. You have more energy for working out. You have more energy for sleeping. Yes, you need energy while you sleep. It's super important. A lot of repairing things happen while you sleep. You need more energy for your cognition and brain to work. You need more energy to metabolize more fat. And this is one of the biggest mistakes people don't realize, is because we don't live in a state of ketosis anymore. In the current world we live in, very few people can do the ketogenic diet or do it well enough to get the long-term health benefits and get this benefit. Okay, so that's number one reasons why ketones are such a huge thing to break through plateaus and to get you the results you're looking for. The other reason is that ketones help with cellular communication. It helps cells talk to each other better, mitochondria talk to each other better, helps your brain, it helps with balancing neurotransmitters and hormones that are leading to maybe appetite and you're overeating. Well, that's a hormone that potentially is triggering that. Well, when those are balanced out, you have more control. And when you have more energy, more self-control, well, guess what? Those neurotransmitters in your brain help with your mood enhancement. So if you start feeling better about yourself, you start feeling generally happier, all those things lead to better results. Not only that, is ketones do something really, really cool. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it improves the efficiency of what we call brown fat. It's a scientific term, by the way. Brown fat you want, because brown fat actually is a good fat in your system, and it helps with more fat metabolism. You want less of that white fat, and the visceral fat, the fat that's really unhealthy. You don't want a lot of that fat, but you do want brown fat. And science is very clear that we have too much white fat and we're gaining too much fat. And when you do that, it has a lot of negative hormone reactions to your system. So we want to replace that white fat. We want to increase brown fat. We want to improve neurotransmitters, improve hormones. We want to improve energy. And we want to make you more human, more naturally designed. And that's why you can break that plateau and burn body fat really, really efficiently. So ketones are a key to this journey and a key to your long-term success, but not only just to break the plateau, but to maintain the results that you achieve. And that's what I love so much about this. So my sister, this is, I talk about her a lot because she's lost 100 pounds and she's maintained it for over 7 years. And she's just one of many. I can talk about Kate. I can talk about Eric. I can talk about Jennifer. I can talk about Robin. I can keep going. My mom, even my wife. I can talk about so many people. My sister, interesting enough, my sister started losing weight kind of quickly and then she plateaued pretty fast. And she keeps calling me and she's like, Dustin, it's not working. It's not working. It's not working. Because she's trying to change her life, right? My sister had been 100 pounds overweight and she was not a healthy person. She'd been in jail and prison. She'd been literally dead on the table. She went septic once. She had a botched surgery that didn't go very well. Like she wasn't doing well. Like she was not a picture of health at all. And so she's trying to change her life, trying to do diets, right? And this is before this amazing tool was available to her. So what we had to do is we had to help her break through these plateaus that she kept fighting. But she was wanting to get better. But everything in her life had led her up to not be healthy, right? And so now she has to not only change everything she's ever done, right? Because what she did before didn't work. Right? That was very obvious. And she could never go back to that lifestyle. So I'm like, how do we change the way you live your life? And that's a lot of years, by the way. It's 40 some years of changing. Not an easy feat. But we know what you were doing wasn't working. So what we did is we started implementing ketones. Okay. And I told her the first thing we want to do is we want to get ketones in your system. And she goes, well, why is that? And what is this product all about? I go, well, right now your body isn't metabolizing fat very well. It's not healthy enough to be great at it. The second thing we need to do is we need to improve how your hormones are working in your brain. So by getting her in ketosis and drinking ketones, it gave her power. So what she noticed, she goes, Dustin, I just feel like my digestion's working a little better. I feel like I have more control over what I want to eat. The desire to fight the binges at night and in the afternoon. I don't crash like I used to, so I always want to snack on something. And then in the evenings, I'm always looking at ice cream and I have to fight myself not to have it. And after a while, it's just like I keep losing. And I don't want you to keep losing. I want you to keep winning. She goes, ever since I've been drinking your ketones, she goes, I just notice I have that good energy through the day, but I'm not crashing in the afternoon. I'm not looking to grab food. And then at night, I don't have to fight to not eat something. I just feel satisfied. What's going on? I go, that's the hormones in your brain. That's super awesome. There's a lot going on, but that's what I told her. And she goes, okay, so now what do I do? She goes, what was interesting about my sister is that her body had to get healthy before the weight really came off. So for those first couple months of even drinking ketones, it wasn't like the scale just started coming down. It was nice and slow, a half a pound a week, which was not fast enough for her, but the plateau was being broken and she was gaining the health. Well, now I said, listen, we got to also feed you right. And she goes, it's interesting. I feel like I actually want to eat a vegetable. My sister never ate vegetables her entire life, ever. And then she goes, I kind of want one. And I'm like, wow, why? Because her mood's better. She's less dependent on the addictions of her food addict. She was a food addict too. She was a drug addict, food addict, everything, right? And so her desire towards those were lessened. So she wanted to make better choices, but everything was telling her to go back and live her old life, not her new one that we were creating. And so I was able to say, okay, listen, why don't we just prioritize some protein? Okay, let's focus on protein. No matter what, you need protein. How much carbs, how much fat, that's another question, right? Because there's the camp out there is like, no fat, fat's bad, which we know is not bad, but how much should you really have, right? And then we have the camps out there is carbs are bad. And we're like, well, they're not bad, but how much should you really have? What we know is protein's kind of the constant. It doesn't change much. Maybe a little bit as you get older, you need a little bit more because your body doesn't process or simulate it the same way. But protein's a pretty constant, right? So I go, why don't we just shoot for 100 grams? If my sister's 5 foot, couple inches, 2-ish, 3 maybe, something like that. And she was 230 some pounds when she started. So I go, I don't want you to have a pound of protein per body weight. That's freaking odd. That's insane. I go, your ideal body weight is probably 130 pounds. True. She was hoping to be 180. That's what she wanted to weigh, right? But her ideal body weight was only 130. I go, why don't we shoot for 100? So 0.8 grams of protein per ideal body weight. So let's just shoot for around 100. I go, we go a little over, great. If you miss it, hey, no harm foul, but let's just see if we can get that in. That was a big feat for her. So part of breaking her plateau was getting her to that 100 grams of protein a day. And then be consistent. Find different varieties of proteins for her to eat. Be creative. Like she's used to eating buffalo wings. Well, yeah, you can have those from time to time, but probably not the most optimal food. You know, people on a ketogenic diet are eating buffalo wings and bacon all the time. And like time to time, but it's probably not the most optimal protein sources that we really want. Can you do it? Technically, yeah, but it's not really, shouldn't be the foundation, right? I'm doing fat bombs, probably not the foundation of what you should be doing, but can you have them from time to time? Sure, right? So I go, let's get the protein in. So we did that, fish and chicken and elk and rabbit. My sister lives in Colorado, so they do different meats there. They have wild stuff, right? Alligator. I don't know if she has alligator. Do you have alligators in Colorado? I don't know. But either way, probably not. But anyway, my most weird protein I've ever had is actually was the big bird that you can ride, a big bird, ostrich. I had an ostrich once. It was all right. It was all right. I rode an ostrich. That was really fun. But anyway, back to my sister. So with the ketones, gave her the power to take control. But then inside, what they were doing is balancing out the hormones, balancing out the GI tract, balancing out her brown fat, right? And helping that come up. And then as she got healthy, the weight started coming off. Now, did she plateau again? She did. So some of the other things that you need to do to break plateaus, even when you're drinking ketones, is we got to go back and reinvestigate your diet. We got to go back and look at it. If you've lost 30 pounds, you're not the same person you were when you started. So if you're doing what you did when you started, isn't going to be the same. Ironically, there's actually something you got to consider, right? Let's say that you're exercising. Let's say that you're going a mile walk every day and you're 300 pounds. Well, if you lose 50 pounds, you're working less on the mile walk because you're carrying 50 less pounds. So you're actually burning less calories than you were when you started, when you were heavier. And your body's gotten better shape and more efficient, so it was more efficient at walking that. So we either need to walk further or faster or something to offset the energy expenditure that we want to get. These are things that people don't consider because they think everything's the same, but it's not. You got to create a new life, and it's always evolving. So what you want to do is you want to go back, and we want to do I'm not a huge calorie counter guy, but once a month, you should count your calories for 3 days in a row. That's optimal. 1 or 2 days is okay. Check in. Maybe you're just lying to yourself. Maybe it's just, you just need the awareness of like, oh, I didn't realize how much alcohol I was drinking. I didn't realize how much I started slipping up on, maybe you're a low carber and you do low carb and you realize your carbs are going way higher and your calories are coming up, or you didn't realize maybe your fat started coming up or your protein started going down too low, or maybe even your protein went up and you can go, oh, this is what I'm doing. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I believe in when you plateau, especially even on a diet for a long time, what you want to do is you want to do refeed days. People used to call them cheat days. I don't call them cheat days because it's just bad language, bad words. It's a bad idea. Let's not cheat on anything. Let's be optimal on everything. But it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy a dessert with your wife or your husband or whoever. But so on a refeed day, you purposely eat more calories once, twice, and if you're super active, maybe 3 times a week, you eat your basal metabolic rate of calories. So if you do a food measurement, it's going to tell you kind of like if you don't do anything, if you say you get an app, you get a lot of apps out there, food measurements. I have one that I like and it's great. But if you do your food calorie, it tells you how much calories you'd burn if you don't do anything. Okay, that's kind of your basal metabolic rate. Well, you want to hit that number sometimes. You don't always want to be below that number, because that's going to slow your metabolism down. So you want to remind your body to be a beast. You want to remind your body to feed, just like our ancestors. Even when they were famished, there's times where they found food and they would eat more on those days. I'm okay even if you overeat. As long as the collective week is low in calories, I'm okay. Couple days a week, I like 2, but sometimes it's 1 if you're really obese, and sometimes it's 3 if you're more fit-based. You want to do a refeed day where you purposely eat more on those days, but still choose healthy foods. If that's the day that you have a little alcoholic beverage, is that the day you have a dessert with your wife or husband? Great, right? That can be just part of that day, and don't feel bad about it. That's why it's a refeed day. It's an important day to help break that plateau, but also to protect you from metabolic adaptation, from your body getting used to going low calorie all the time. We don't want to get used to that, because that's not a good place to be. That's not how you maintain your results. If your metabolism slows down, it's harder to maintain your results. You gain more weight back. How many people do you know that lost weight gain more back? 63% of people gain more back. 90% gain it all back within the first year. Not with us, because we have this tool, we have this amazing thing, and we have the wisdom and the knowledge of how to do that. Okay. Another thing that you want to do is you have to shift up your physical activity. You got to change the system. So if you're a person of habit and I just love to do my class, well, if the class is easy, you got to do something different. You have to. This isn't an option. People, we get used to just doing simple things and expecting simple results. And it seems like that's how it should be, but it's just not how it is. You're not the same person you were when you started. You have to do things differently. And it's not rocket science. It's not go start a cleanse. This is what people do. They do a crazy cleanse. They go do 75 hard. They do something crazy. That's not the answer either, because that's not sustainable. But you do need to shock this. You do need to shock the system. You do need to shock the system. So maybe you set up a 5K and you're going to do a 5K run. Never ran 5K. Well, good. Do something different. Maybe you do a different class. Maybe you start working out. Maybe you start working out. Go on YouTube and do a 30-minute full body home workout. Go on YouTube, do a full body 30-minute workout and kick your butt for a little bit. Do that once or twice a week for a while and see what happens. You'll start to shift and change. Increase your hydration, right? Drink more water. We got to do something different than we currently are doing. But I like to assess. First off, you got to drink your ketones. If your body's not metabolically set up to be efficient and you have health problems, you're under stress, you're overweight, you've been sick before, you live in this modern day world with toxins everywhere, you got to use ketones because it's going to help get the foundation set so that you're more likely to get results and maintain it. First off. Second thing is you got to shock the system. You got to go back and shock it with some movement. Do something different. And it's got to be harder, just harder. Doesn't have to be every day. Couple times a week, just something to shake it up. Third thing you got to do is you got to check in. You got to go and just check what you're eating. How far off are you? Have you been in low calorie mode forever and you're just not eating enough? Well, don't start eating more because that's not going to work. But twice a week, eat more on 2 days. Back to your basal metabolic rate. Make sure you hit your protein goals. Take away stuff that just isn't working for you. Okay? And then drink more water. I like to use our Mitoplex as an enhanced hydration tool. It's unbelievable, but you got to find what works best for you. We can get into sleep and things like that, but honestly, those are usually not the reason. Those are just another excuse people have. I didn't sleep well last night. Bullshit. That's not the reason why it's not working. Like, if you don't sleep well all the time, well, then we got to fix that. Drink your ketones, do the other things, see if it gets better. It might just get better on its own. So, hey, listen, if you want to change your life forever, come join us. I have a really cool new Facebook group I just started, and it's how to lose 10 pounds in 30 days, guaranteed. Money back guaranteed. Guaranteed. Lose 10 pounds if you have 10 pounds to lose. If you don't have 10 pounds to lose, well, it's not going to work for you. But if you do, I guarantee it. But the key to that is creating the foundation to maintain it. And that's all I focus on. My goal is never to help people lose weight. My goal is never to help people get just healthy. That's baby steps. It's how do you change your life and maintain a new life? How do you actually create a new lifestyle? Anybody that says it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, they're lying to themselves. It is a diet. It is a plan. But you're going to create a new lifestyle, and everybody's lifestyle is going to be different, but you have to create it. You don't start a lifestyle, you create a lifestyle. And that's super important, and that's what I teach, and that's all I teach, because I want people to change their life and learn how to live their life forever. Be the best version of yourself. Hold yourself to a higher standard so that you can lead your family in a way that you're proud of. So that you can be that 80-year-old person that's playing pickleball and just happy to be alive, and your grandkids and their kids look up to him and go, wow, I want to be like that when I'm 80. Not many people right now are like that. We can do that, but it starts today. Don't wait till then. And you might as well look good, feel good while you do it. See you there. Cheers.